9 cards in hand. Yep. No one reads the card. No one reads the card. Hello, thank you for joining me today. I'll be going over another Historic Brawl deck featuring Jolrael as our commander. I'll quickly go over our game plan as well as some key cards and card categories. I won't go over each individual card, but the deck list is linked in the description if you want to take a closer look. So our commander is a 1/2 human druid that says whenever we draw our second card each turn, we make a 2/2 green cat token. Then we can pay 6 mana to have our creature's power and toughness become equal to the number of cards in our hand until end of turn. So we want to try and draw an extra card in each of our turns, as well as adding creatures to the board to be buffed up by our commander's ability. We can also make a cat token by drawing 2 in our opponent's turn, but this doesn't come up too often as it's much harder to achieve than in our turn. So I've separated the cards into different categories. So first we have our ramp category, with a mix of ramp artifacts, ways to get extra lands in play, and effective ramp creatures. A lot of these cards also provide additional utility in the deck, such as cards like Explore and Scale the Heights, drawing a card, or Heraldic Banner, pumping the team. One notable card is Growing Rights of Itlamok, which replaces itself, so that's good to maintain our commander's ability to buff our team. And we can often meet the requirements to flip it due to the cat tokens that we get from Jolrael. And then another card that's slightly out of place is Cemetery Prowler, which I've added very recently to both ramp us and help us win against opposing graveyard strategies like Muldrotha, which I was struggling against quite a bit. So then the next pile is our cantripping cards that draw at least 1 card upon cast or entering the battlefield. So there's a mix of creatures and non-creature cards in this pile, including a few cycling cards like Dissenter's Deliverance, we've got Wilt, and we've got Barrier Breach, that we can make use of those cards to interrupt opponents who rely on artifacts and enchantments if we don't want to cycle them to make sure that we're getting use out of our commander's ability. The creatures are all very important in the early turns to help us create cat tokens, as well as adding more bodies to the board to contribute to an all-out attack later on. So then the next category we've got is repeatable card draw. These effects aren't as impactful in the early turns as the cantripping cards, but provide more card advantage as the game goes on. Some of these cards provide extra utility, such as Garruk's Uprising is quite an important one, giving the team trample, which is very relevant when you're pumping creatures to be 6/6s and try to finish the game before the opponent can cast a sweeper. Great Henge is obviously a fantastic card draw engine that also adds counters to a lot of our creatures, and the Immortal Sun can shut down opposing Planeswalker strategies. It will also shut down both of our Nissas. We're running Vital Force and Nissa Who Shakes the World, both very good Planeswalkers. Vital Force can obviously draw extra cards if we can get to her emblem, which can't be interacted with, so that's really good for us. But yeah, the Immortal Sun does shut those down, but it's worth it to have such a strong card in the deck that just really synergizes well and shuts out opposing strategies. So then the final pile we've got here is mostly just utility cards and double face lands, but some of these are quite important. Kelney Ambush adds some extra removal to this deck that is pretty light on it. Try to keep it very much to cards that do cantrips, so having an extra removal spell in here is very nice. We've also got Augur of Autumn, which doesn't draw cards, but playing cards off the top of our deck means that we keep more cards in hand, so that Jolrael can make the team that much bigger. Then we've also got Belfist Oak as one of the few creatures in the deck that doesn't draw a card, but is very strong with all of our draw card, and the buff it receives from us drawing cards is added on top of Jolrael, changing its base power and toughness. So if you combine that with Trample from cards like Garruk's Uprising, or we've got a Charge Through as well, and then the oak can be a very scary threat. Then for non-basic lands, we have Boseiju, as another answer to opposing artifacts, enchantments, and non-basic lands. We've got Castle Garenbrig to help us ramp into creature spells, and the mana it generates can also be used to activate our commander's ability, which often comes up quite a lot. Desert of the Indomitable and Tranquil Thicket can both be cycled to help us get those cat tokens or to get more relevant cards if we're flooded. We've got Calney Garden, adds a 0/1 plant token, but luckily it doesn't have Defender, so Jolrael can actually buff that up, and that gives us an extra attacker, which is very nice. Then we've got Lair of the Hydra as our creature land of choice that, well, the only creature land we can play, that's good against controlling strategies, can take out planeswalkers even if they're holding up counter spells or have wiped our board. And then finally we've got Reliquary Tower, which gives us no maximum hand size. Not always relevant, but can be relevant in the games where some of our draw engines are allowed to stick around, and it's not too much of a cost to be including a colorless land in a monocolored deck that doesn't need all of the green pips as much. So yeah, that's the deck. Now let's see how it runs. Okay, so we're on the play against Ishin, 2 Heavens as 1, so that can be quite an aggressive deck. We've got ways to draw cards. Monitor's more of a 4-drop, so I actually don't hate this hand. We'll probably end up cycling Wilt to make sure we draw a card, get our cat, make sure we hit some more land drops as well. Opponent goes for a mulligan, and we're off. Okay, Reliquary Tower, don't need to play that yet. Don't want to end up in a position where we don't have enough green mana. There's a Croxer to make us discard. Discard a land. That doesn't seem amazing. Gargaroth is very good though, and can block Croxer if they manage to get it back from graveyard. Maybe it's just the Wilt and we just play a Journal next turn. Feels bad. Maybe it's just the Journal. Difficult decision, definitely. Okay, let's cycle this. Oh, and play another land. Yeah, if they manage to recur Croxer, then Reliquary Tower's no maximum hand size is probably irrelevant. Play the Commander, so that stops us from attacking. So we got 4 mana. We've already got our 5th. This brings a land in untapped, but that doesn't really matter. It will still trigger Jolrael. Otherwise, I could just go Packmate. I think Packmate's better, because like, if we get to Jolrael's ability, we're still not at the point where we've got enough creatures that that's relevant, so I think we just go Packmate here. And no attacks. If we need the untapped land to play Gargaroth, then we can play the Symbiosis. Nice, we got the forest, so we can save this. Yes, I think it's just Gargaroth. We won't draw for the turn, so we won't get a cat. But that's fine. Get a very strong creature instead that can guarantee draws for the rest of the game. They can't answer it. And they can answer it, so that's fine. So again, we could play this untapped so that we could activate Jolrael, but it's not particularly strong yet. General's Enforcer makes their Ishin indestructible. So I know I want to be drawing this turn, I think, so I think I might cycle the Monitor. go get a land, and we'll see if get Boseiju. So that could get rid of the ring, could get rid of the den. Hopefully we can just keep the Boseiju in hand. Could use the Rune of Might here. Put it on like the Packmate, makes it a better blocker for Ishin. Could just cycle the desert in their turn. Yeah, let's go Rune of Might. We're into Guide Bot. So we haven't played a land for the turn, so maybe we just play the tapped desert. No attacks yet. So we could look at activating Jolrael next turn. We have target attacking, so if they attack with both, they could give both double strike. Which they do. Does that make them dead if they don't play anything else? I can have 5 in hand, times by, what have we got, 5? Yep, 5 times 5 would be lethal if they don't have anything else to play. That doesn't make a difference. So yeah, I think they're just dead. Artifact enchantment on non-stick. Okay, that's fine. Yep, no blocks. We'll take the 10. They should take 26, I think. Go on. Give my... Wait. Okay, it's A. For a second there, I thought they were just going to do that. Yep. People cannot do maths. So we're on the draw versus Azusa. Our hand's kind of slow, but is also very good. Settle the Wilds is just a very strong card for ramp, and then we've got 2 very strong 4-drops as well. So I think I'll keep hoping to get maybe something a little bit better for the early game. Maze Mind Tome's better for a later game. And yeah, I think... Well, it depends. If they get out like a Scoot Swarm, then obviously going wide's not going to be so good for us. Hopefully they just ramp into big, like 1 or 2 big fatties, and then we can actually deal with that. So I'd prefer to play Lanoir on 3 here, so Jolrael now, Lanoir next turn, and then the turn after we can see maybe we'll go Beast Whisperer, start drawing cards off of playing Tusky and such. Fireless Provisioner, very good in a deck that can play so many lands. And yeah, I think it's just Visionary here. Gets us a Monitor, no attacks. We got 5 mana next turn. I could go like cycle the Monitor to make sure we keep getting the cats, plus play Maze Mind Tome. That sounds pretty good. Nice and mana efficient. Jolrael shouldn't be a concern for us. We're not particularly dependent on particular lands. Blast Zone can't hit tokens since it starts at one counter already. But they could tick it up to maybe deal with Jolrael. Plays a Reclaim the Wastes, so they get 2 lands to hand. They do only have 1 card left, so it might just be 1 big fatty. And we draw a land. Okay. Yeah, I think I like the play I described, so Monitor into Maze Maze Mind Tome. Developing on mana. A cat. Maze Mind Tome. And no attack still. Could have maybe got in with the cat. Not sure. I would like to trade that for Provisioner. Yeah, that might have been the right play. Makes a bunch of treasure. What are we doing with all this mana? We've got a utility land that we're going to go get with the Reclaimer, maybe? They are running a mix of snow forests and regular forests, which is strange. The kind of you did that for a while when Field of the Dead was still around, but I'm pretty sure that's banned from Historic Brawl now. And even then, it was usually multicolour decks that did that. Okay, so they get their Bonder's Enclave, although that won't be active yet. They've not got a creature with power 4 or greater. Pass to us. Do I want to scry? No, I don't think so. I'm not exactly sure what I want at this moment, so I'll save this to get as much draw card out of it as possible. So I could activate Jolrael, make everything 6/6s, do 24 damage. I could go... So I'm going to want to play my land for that anyway. If I went Explore... No, that's worse. Yeah, I think we swing all out, see how they block. $24 damage worth it. Don't think so. I think I'd rather do the damage and then develop my board. So for 6 mana we could go Maze Mind Tome, draw. Do have to be careful that Settle the Wilds isn't out of range of stuff. What do we have that this can get? So it's a permanent card. So right now it can only get to Immortal Sun, which is a 9-drop, so we're at 6. 7. So that'd be 7, that'd be 8. So we need to explore, play the land, plus play another land next turn. So that's a play for next turn. Don't hate exploring now. And we do get a land, so we should be able to do the whole thing with the Settle the Wilds next turn. Play a land. And what I can do is draw in their turn with Tone, plus play the charge through. It's less mana efficient than just going like a Beast Whisperer or a Toski. But I think I like that more. It puts more cards into our hand. But yeah, Jolrael can also trigger in their turn. It doesn't come up that often because it's quite hard to draw 2 in their turn rather than drawing the extra 1 in yours. And I'll probably target charge through on like their Grazer so that they can't like respond with removal. Or if they do, at least it takes out their creature. Maybe I'll go on a higher value creature like the Provisioner. There's a Kogler, that's pretty bad for us. 1 mana short of responding with Jolrael's thing. So yeah, they do fight her. So let's draw a card. And charge through on Provisioner. Quite interesting, if we did it on Azusa, they could pick that up with Kogler. And we get Boseiju, which can do Artifact Enchantment on non-basic. Yeah, I don't think that helps us at the moment, so fight happens. Anna goes to the command zone, so she costs 4 now. So I think I want to do... Kogler makes this very awkward actually now, because if we get the... It's into hand, right? Yeah. So if we get the Great Henge, we can just not play it. They won't know that that's what we've got as well. Is something, so we can wait until we can deal with Kogler, or we can have like a really good Great Henge turn before we do anything. Okay, and they just pass. Backmate, so double check. Great Henge is 9, I think. 7, 8, 9, yeah. So land, settle. And get our Henge. So 4, 5, 6 mana. Yeah, I could go Jolrael plus draw. But yeah, we might start to see them pick up Azusa to fight again with the Kogler. I would usually say at least that's tying up their mana, but they don't seem to have a lot to do, so not the greatest to be tying up their mana in that case. But at least we're building more cats for the cat army. Goes for a Harmonize. Could still do the Kogler play. They'll want to attack with Kogler first. And then I don't think I'd block it, since they can just make it indestructible by doing the whole Azusa thing anyway, right? Yeah. And they go for the draw card, although they've still got a lot of mana. Once Upon a Time. Still got 9 mana. Let's get some elves, which they'll have to use a treasure to play, which they do. And just passes, so they don't make the Kogler play. Which is interesting. We have 7 creatures. 8 cards in hand, could be 9. We can't kill them unless they make bad blocks. Which people often do. So I think we start with swinging and see what they do. And we can draw with the tome before we activate Jolrael as well. So they can make Kogler indestructible. Okay, blocks there. Okay, this seems strange. 9 cards in hand. Yep. No one reads the card. No one reads the card. Okay, so we're on the draw against Campbell. Our opponent casts a non-creature spell. Shouldn't be too bad for us, but obviously might point to a wider control strategy. This isn't too bad. We've got Packmate for draw. Pack Leader can hopefully start drawing quite soon. So yeah, we'll give this a go. And I'm tempted to play the Mox Amber early just so they don't, yeah, so that we don't get hurt by it. There they go for a tap land, so we could go for Pack Leader or Jolrael. If we go for Jolrael next turn, we could go Packmate, so that's probably the play. Could also go Belfast Oak next turn. Or now we can even go Pack Leader plus Training. Or Banner plus Pack Leader. Develop our mana, make sure we don't get hit by this. Banner plus Training, make sure we get the draw card, and again, don't get hit by the console. Yeah, I don't hate that. Green, play that. Training on Jolrael. Get a kitty and in. We're already at 6 mana next turn once we play our land. Quite good. Fumigate. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting out of them. A lot of control. So I could play Jolrael plus a Pack Leader. I think I prefer Belfast. Oh no, I can't do that because then Mox Amber won't tap for mana. So yeah, I think I'll go for that play then. And if they let us attack next turn, we can draw a card with a Pack Leader. Not sure that's... Ooh, okay. Vampire's Kiss. Not really seen that card played. And they play a Veto. Usually a combo card, especially in the kind of deck we're seeing from them. So yeah, they can't do anything to Jolrael if I attack. So I think we could start... Yeah, we should be able to just start there. And then Pack Leader will trigger it. Get a kitty cat. Barrier Breach could be nice for if they've got Sanguine Bond, I think. Obviously it's an infinite combo with Veto. So it'd be nice to keep up that mana if possible. So let's see, if we play a land... If I want 3 mana, then I can play a 4-drop. We've already drawn a card this turn, so we don't need to focus on that. So we can go Belfast Oak, I think. And then just keep up the Barrier Breach in theirs. Renewed Faith. Gains 2, drains us for 2. Oh, I suppose, okay, as part of a wider gain and drain strategy. But again, if they're running Veto, they might be running the Bond. Goes to mine, that's fine. Lotus Cobra. So there's a temptation to play Cobra and kind of go off with our hand. My concern is that we might be running into another sweeper. 6. We can make all of these 5/5s plus the 1. I mean, actually no, even bigger than that. Let's swing and see what happens. Murderous Rider. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that, so that resolves. But we'll still swing, still get our draw card. Let's see what they do. They go for the chump. We can make both of these 6/6. Plus another one, so 7/6. So we do 14 damage. Seems unnecessary rather than doing more with our hand. So if they have a sweeper, I just want to play my stuff that draws a card. So let's start with Visionary and see what we draw. Transformation's fine. I think maybe play Packmate and then I'll foretell the Mammoth. Although that's worse for activating Jolrael, but yeah, if they don't have a sweeper, they're kind of screwed anyway. If they do have a sweeper, having Mammoth afterwards seems quite nice. And they concede. Okay, we're on the draw against what looks to be another Shrine deck. Not the worst hand. Tap lands are a little bit awkward, but we should be okay. We can go like tap land on 1, 2 play Jolrael, 3 we can play another tap land and play the training, so should be okay. But hoping to draw some untapped lands, one of which is there. So I'll start with a desert. I don't think I'm cycling that, so we can play that tap turn 1. There's a Signet. Don't have a way to interact with that. Ambush could be nice for killing off some of the creature shrines. They have played a World Tree, so once they're at 6 mana, their mana is fixed. Played a Veil of Summer for no reason? Well, I suppose it's useless in this matchup anyway. But still, strange. I'd have kept it in hand, at least to bluff. They get a Goshintai out. So, because of our untapped land, we could go Visionary this turn. Which seems good. Draws a card, ramps us. Everything we want. Untapped land would get us to Nissa, which would be nice. So a Lotus Cobra instead. So we've still got a tap land in our recovery and ambush, although I'd like to keep the ambush if possible. And plays a Honden of Knight's Reach, so in their turn we're going to have to start discarding. Did get an untapped land, so I could go Nissa. Which is probably worth it. See, if I play Cobra, play a land, then I have 4 mana. Go like Migration Path, have another 2 mana. I think I prefer getting Nissa out. And I'll go for the desert, since if it dies, it's much better for me, since if I get the other Nissa, it doesn't get double mana. So I think I could keep desert on defense, try and save the Nissa, and then if we can keep her around long enough. So Journal can go, and I think probably Training, since we've got a heavy land land synergy at the moment. Goes for Extinction Event. Yep, that screws me over pretty hard. Gets rid of my land as well. It's for 2, and then this can also hit Planeswalkers, so yep. Well, there's a Nesse Shakes the World, which I can play. Then I could play like a Lotus Cobra. What else could I do? Or actually, no, I could... That, plus that. Untap a land. Play Nissa. Have another land. Then... I know, because I can't... I could play like Cobra and a tap land. Doesn't really do much. Maybe I just keep that forest on defense and play recovery tapped. There's, I'll have to discard 2. Probably going to be Cobra and Path, and I'm going to try and ambush their shrine if I can. Yeah, hopefully not running into another sweeper, otherwise the game is probably over. Bridge is fine. They can pay 1 to do 2. Which one am I hitting? I'd rather they hit the one with 6 loyalty on, since I'm not that bothered about ulting it. Whereas Vital Force is actually very strong. Yep, I go for the right one. Okay, so we can ambush this turn. Don't think we can draw a card. So let's go Forest. Untap it.
The land shall conquer you.
Let's... Yes. Well, no, because I'm going to want to attack with it, so... Tap that one. And then 5/5 can fight their shrine. They're going to make me discard 1 anyway, so I'm going to play out my forest and play Jolrael. And we can still attack with everything. So yeah, it's not bad, not great at the moment. Got a nice presence on board, but we really need to draw something that draws cards, and they concede. Okay. Okay, so we're on the draw versus Muldrotha. Got 3 lands, one of which is Boseiju. Not amazing against Muldrotha, since they can always get back whatever you destroy. But we've got nice ramp and everything, so I think this is a keep. I'll still hold the Boseiju just in case, but yeah, most likely don't want to be playing it. Interesting decision here. Into 2 black mana, there's a good chance they've got removal, so I'm tempted to play Mindstone. So that we don't expose anything to it. Okay, so they just play a Field of Ruin and pass with 3 open mana. We can have 4 mana here. I could go like cycle the Monitor. Cetessan Training's not that good, since they can kill the Jolrael in response. Yeah, I think I might just cycle the monitor. I'm doing that. Do I? I might want to do it in my turn in case I hit one of our 1-drops off of the cycle. Sold the Harvest, nice draw. Get the green mana. Right, so play our land and play the Solar Harvest. We could go like Jolrael into Visionaries, probably the play actually. Since there's a good chance they've got removal up here. I'd rather put multiple things on the board rather than a Solar Harvest that's most likely to eat a removal. This goes for a Roiling Regrowth, that's fine. Sacks the Field of Ruin. Obviously that can get them blue mana. So they can play their commander next turn. We do finally get on the board. Now we can keep up either Charge Through or Besiege You. Plays a Binding. Probably killing my Jolrael. So I could kill Binding in response. Not that it doesn't save Jolrael, but they don't seem to have the mana for Muldrotha. Oh no, wait, Boseiju gives them the land anyway. So yeah, we'll just let that happen. So next turn, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Could go this plus a 3. I think I need to use the Charge Through because I need to find some graveyard hate as soon as possible. We've got, I think, 2 sources in the deck. Okay, so I could go 7, 8. Oh, I could actually have 8 mana. So Growing Rights would be nice if we can trigger it. Don't think we can. Let's see, play land, play this. 3. Depends what I hit off of it. I don't mind going for it. Obviously, they've got a Field of Ruin in the yard, so that can deal with it eventually. So I've played my land, so I could either go Wall of Blossoms as a 2, or I could go like Jolrael plus Llanowar Elves, and that'd still do it. I think that's fine. We'll do that. One black mana. Not sure what they run for 1 black mana. Suppose it could also be the counterspell that doesn't cost anything. They get their forest. We'll see if they've got an untapped land to play Muldrotha for this turn. Dark Ritual will do the same. And also might let them play something out of the yard. Oh, into a Beledros, okay. Interesting. Untap all your lands, play Muldrotha. Let's put them quite low. I don't think... Yeah, they play a Field of Ruin. So they get a pest. They can untap all their lands. I've got 6 cards in hand. But I can Mind Stone, sack for another one. County Garden could make an extra creature, which would give me more mana from the Cradle of the Sun anyway, so we could go for that. Although we don't, so we don't want to go down any cards. Go for like a Rune of Might. Still leaves me enough to use Jolrael. Let's put that on the cat. This is the thing we least care about dying. Okay. And then got 5 creatures, so if I do Cetizen Training, I should still be able to use Jolrael. So another thing is Trample. We'll give it to you, Lamorels, I guess. Gambit. Oh. So let's make our mana. Or I suppose we can attack first and then make our mana. People don't always know how much Jolrael will do before you activate. We've got 2 Tramplers. They're going to have to block with their biggest things. We've got 7 cards in hand, so they should be dead. Depends if Witherbloom can untap their lands and still somehow save them, despite them going to 3 to do that. Okay, they untap their lands. And goes for a Field of Ruin. So in response I'll activate, and yep, that's GG.